Okay, this is just a recap from last Monday's lesson on plumbing systems. So we're creating both water and sewer plumbing systems within our project, and it's on page 23 of the tutorial if you're following. So I'm giving you a basic overview of what we did. It may go a bit fast, but remember you can always pause the video. So we're now working in plumbing, so under the project browser we're going to go plumbing, and I've got open my first floor plan here as well as my 3D view. First thing we're going to do is we're going to place plumbing fixtures. You may think it's silly because we already have some there from the architect, but we're going to put our own in, that way we have control over the fixtures. First thing we're going to put in is the wash basin from water from bottom. This is the connection for the basins here, and once you have that family, you can then spacebar to rotate it, and then simply just place it over the existing basin that's there. You'll notice that you get these little symbols coming off the basin when you click it. These are indicating that there's connections need to be made to the basin we've placed, or the connections we've placed. We've got cold water, we've got sewer, and we've got hot water there. So once we have our connections for our basin, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go plumbing fixtures, and we're going to put in our toilets from the bottom. So connection, wash closet from bottom. If you choose from top, that means the connections will be coming from above you. In this case, we're just going to use from bottom. So I've placed both of my toilet connections as well. And now what we need to do is we need to monitor our elements that we've put in against the ones from the architect. Same thing that you did with the levels. Under collaborate, copy monitor tool, and then choose select link. That way we select the architect's link. And again, it's the same process as we did with the levels. Then we choose the monitor option, and we're going to monitor our connection onto his toilet. Same thing with the basin. Our connection onto his basin. Our connection onto his toilet, and our connection onto his basin. So that way, if the architect moves his, we'll be able to get some notification of that move. So finish. And we can now continue. We need to add a water heater to supply the hot water, or the water in fact, to our elements. So under systems, mechanical equipment, we need to choose the water heater, M water heater tankless. If you don't have this one, it's on StudyNet, so you can download it from StudyNet, otherwise it should be in your libraries. This is going to be placed against the wall. I'm going to put my water heater just up against this wall here. You can see if there's a cross on my cursor, that means I can't place it because there's nothing hosting the element. So I'm going to place it on my wall here and ignore this for now, and escape twice to get out of the tool. So now I have my water heater, I have my connections for my toilet and sinks, and I'm ready to create my systems. So for one of the systems, all you need to do is literally highlight, or using your control key, and select the elements you'd like in the system. I'm going to start with the hot water. So all I need is my water heater plus my sinks, because I don't need hot water to my toilets. Once I've done that, I select the option piping, and it will give me a system type: hot water, cold water, other, and circulation. I'm going to stay with hot water, and I'm just going to give it a name, hot water 1. You may in a big project have more than one hot water system, so it's good to give them a name. Once that's occurred, you can see that they turn red. That's not a bad thing, it just represents hot water, and you can see the dashed line that puts itself around the elements, even in 3D as well. This indicates that it's a part of a system. So just like with your mechanical ventilation systems, we generate our layout, and we can choose from different types of solutions up in your options bar here. Also, don't forget to use your 3D to have a look at your systems and see if everything's going to go okay. So I might choose this system, for example. In your settings, I would recommend that you change maybe your main for the hot water to 300, and same with your branch to 300. That way it's 300 off the ground. If it was above 300, you'll see that the connection is way too high for what you're trying to do, so keep it at 300. Okay, so we have our solution. I believe that could be the right one. Once you're happy with it, we make sure our value of our slope is on 0% and click the tick to finish your layout. You can then see, both in 3D and 2D, that your pipes have been connected, and that's your hot water system. You can then manually modify the pipes. For example, if you needed this to come into the middle of the room a bit more, maybe behind the toilet, you can then drag the pipes and things like that. So then we'll create the cold water system. Same thing, using the control and highlighting the elements you'd like in the connections. So I've got all 4 of my elements in my hot water system. Piping, we've been given the domestic cold water, so I'm just going to keep that cold water one. And again, I can then create my layout. For my cold water, I'm actually going to change my settings and make it 50. Okay, so it's below my hot water, and there shouldn't be any pipes running over each other. I'm going to choose a different option. This one looks fine for me. I'm happy with it. My slope's on 0. I click my green tick, and my system has been created. Now in big projects there could be problems like you see here with some pipes overlapping and some sort of clashes that are occurring. This is very common in big projects. So to make sure that you have no pipes that are crossing, we can go to collaborate, we can go to interface check, and we can run an interface check. Now we want to run from our current project, which is our pipes and our pipe fittings, against our current project, pipes and pipe fittings. So we're seeing if any pipes are going to be clashing. Select OK, and we can see that we have a few different problems. If we select show, Revit will then generate a view where it will show us where the clash has occurred. But we can also click on it and we can see that the clash is occurring over here as well as over here. So we need to address these. We can just leave this interface report open over here. Now to address these problems, we need to be using our sections. Set up your section so that it's only viewing the area that's the problem. I'll just demonstrate on this area over here. So I'm setting up my section, and I'm setting up the depth of the view so it's only small, so I only see what I need to see. I'm going to my view for my section, and I can see in my view that I need to make sure that my walls are invisible, or see-through, transparent, so that I can see the pipes and activity that's happening behind the walls. I also need to make sure my section is on fine. That way I can see the most detail of the pipes and they're just not a line. So to make my walls transparent, I'm going to use my visual graphics under view, or I can use the shortcut VG, and I can find my walls and I can just make sure that my transparency is set to 100. That means that they are see-through and I can see the activity going on in the walls. So you can see here it's not a very good view, so I need to just modify my section to make sure I get a view of the issue at hand. So it's under the water heater, and it looks like it's something here. Yep, I can see my problem here. I've got a hot water pipe going through a cold water pipe. So what I can do to make sure that my pipe goes around my hot water pipe, I can just use these nodes and I can drag and disconnect my cold water from the system up the top. Using the shortcut CS, which is create similar, I make sure that I'm clicked on my blue pipe and I use CS to create a similar pipe that I can then draw with. So then I can just simply take my pipe, draw the path around the hot water pipe that's causing the problem, and then reconnect it into my system. So now I can see I've solved that issue, and when I refresh my interface report, I can see that that problem has been addressed. So you may have a few different problems, like I have another one here, that you need to address. Just keep in mind, use your sections to get the best view possible. Remember, keeping it in fine and making sure that your walls are invisible. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to use this section to draw our sewer. So here I've already set my section up. I've got it in fine. I've made sure that my walls are 100% transparent, and I've also made sure that my floors are 100% transparent. That way I can see piping go through my floors. So in this section I'm going to use my toilet connection here. Clicking on the little sewer line, you can see I can't click on the water one because it's already connected, but I can click on my sewer, and that will instantly allow me to draw the sewer pipe from my toilet. So I'm just going to draw it down and across, just like this. Now with a sewer you actually need to have a slope, so there are different ways of applying a slope on this pipe here. First, you can manually do it by dragging the pipe on an angle. And here you have a blue percent, so you can add your own percentage here. So I'm going to change it to 2%, and my pipe will slope to 2%. The other option is to choose the slope tool up the top and then give a value for the pipe, so maybe 1.25 for this example. And you can see that the pipe will then adjust to the slope that it's been given. I'm just going to change it back to 2% because that's what it should be on for our sewer. Now we have our pipe sloping out of our building. We also need to connect into with the other toilet. So again, using the little pipe at the bottom, you can then drag it down so it just touches the edge of the sloped pipe. There may be a little warning, but you can then connect into that way. And that's the same with your other connections. We can see here we have a sewer system connecting into the one line here. I think that's about it from the tutorial. It's a really simple rundown. Please go ahead and adjust, add more toilets, add more showers and things like that. Hopefully this will help you continue to model the piping system. Practice makes perfect. Try different things. You can also use the option connect into up here when you select an element to connect into. and that way Revit should automatically, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You can see here it's taken a strange path. But it's a matter of trial and error. There's always different ways to do things, but I stress to you, always consider your views and which way you're looking at the problem that you're trying to solve. So good luck with piping, and I'll see you next week for electrical.